Alright, budget. Make space, make space.
Aye, aye, aye.
Alright guys, so we need to talk about full-time van life, internet in Europe, and your advice, comments, etc. and your experiences, very much welcome. So let's get into it. Right then, so as full-time van lifers, we obviously live, travel and work in the van, and since we work online, the issue of a lot of gigabytes of data is actually a big conversation starter. In our universe. It's a big problem. We have been on and off, tried different stuff in the past, I don't know, 4-ish months, 3-ish months of van life. I lose track.
Both inside the UK and outside the UK, and we've been experimenting with which SIM cards work best, how the fair use data policy works, which we'll get into, don't worry. And basically we're going to try and give you a kind of summary of the best internet options that we've found.
By the way, if you do like some sit-down videos like this that answer your van life and van build questions alike, then leave your questions in the comments below and we'll get to them as we gather the most popular ones. Well, first of all, how do you get internet in the van?
So the short answer is SIM cards. The same SIM cards that you have in your phones. You don't actually need anything else. You can just hotspot off your phone. So share your phone's internet with your laptop, with your tablets, and with anything else that need internet, and you can use it just that way if you don't use a lot, which is my recommendation if you don't use a lot of internet. But if you're like us, so we have gathered that we use about 150 gigabytes a month. That's everything on our internet plans.
And honestly, no, it's 100 gigabytes a month, and then if
She's tangled.
Oh, cat. It's okay, baby.
She's tangled with the other cat.
Oh god.
One moment, please.
I've been replaced by a cat.
This is my co-host.
Okay.
She wants to go to the front. Okay. Well, I'll untether you, and you can go to the front.
Right, where was it? Yes. So we actually use 150. No, we actually use 100 gigabytes a month, and then it's 150 if we're being extra. Consumptuous with it.
Extra frivolous.
Yeah, that was the word I was thinking.
Let's go with frivolous.
Frivolous, yes. Okay, so we need to tackle the internet issue both locally, in this case the UK data plans, and then in Europe, because that changes. So let's talk about the UK by itself. Getting unlimited internet or a lot of gigabytes of internet in the UK, locally speaking, is no problem whatsoever.
Any of the major four, so that's EE, 3, O2 and Vodafone. All of them you can pretty much get unlimited data plans for under about 30 quid a month. That means you get unlimited UK internet. That's pretty much you sorted. You can put one of those SIM cards in your phone and hotspot off your phone. Or if you want a little bit more of a, like, you don't want to drain your phone's battery, you can get a cheap 50 quid internet dongle like what we have and put a SIM card in the back of here, and that will be essentially the van's Wi-Fi, which is what we use this for. So we connect our laptop, our pads, and actually our phones to this dongle, and that lives up there permanently charging.
And if you're going full time, then having something like this in your van is actually really, really good. Because one, we have security cameras. Those security cameras need Wi-Fi the whole time. So when
they run off that.
When our phones move away, those cameras will not be working, and that will make them completely useless. A very, very common question that we get is, do you need an antenna to go on the roof of the van that then connects with a cable to your essentially Wi-Fi hub to get stronger internet in the van? And the answer to that is usually not, but it will definitely help. But you can get away with not getting one straight away.
So we've been working full-time in the van for 4 months just off that. There is a difference if you open the door versus closing the door. There is a difference if you take the dongle outside the van rather than keeping it inside, because the metal shell of the van does kind of insulate the 4G signals from getting inside the van, but you can get away with it. And it's been
very, very rare that we've been parked somewhere where we'll get no internet or be like unusable sort of for 4G with the door closed. There was actually only one place I remember that was particularly annoying. And that was in a forest, and there was a storm going on, and basically you had to keep the something open. That
So what we did is we opened the skylight and we put the dongle on our roof deck, and that actually improved the internet enough where you could actually use it.
Yes, but it's been very rare that there's a huge difference for us. We will be upgrading eventually, but it's not a necessity, so it's not like a priority.
And this has worked perfectly well for
so
us.
that is the basics of how you get internet in the van. So
Yes.
via your hotspot on the phone and via an internet MiFi device. Okay.
And in the UK, unlimited internet is not a problem.
Yeah.
I think 3 or Smarty that run on 3 is the cheapest unlimited. It's about 20 quid a month. Again, there'll be links to all of these in the description, but in essence, in the UK, unlimited internet, not an issue.
Yeah. In terms of reliability and speed within the UK, EE is the best all around. As soon as because we've tried now EE, we've had Vodafone, we've had 3 and Smarty,
And we've had O2 as well.
right,
to
okay,
test.
we've tried all of them.
Yeah.
And we actually, my phone is a Vodafone, Sam's phone is a Smarty, and our dongle is on EE.
Yep.
When we go EE, there's an immediate difference.
Yeah.
Places where the other two were barely getting like 3 megs.
Download speed,
Yeah,
we
something
were
like
getting
that.
20 plus. Obviously,
Or 60 and stuff. So basically, it was miles better.
Yeah.
There are some times where EE is not good, and Vodafone is actually pretty good.
And
So-
actually, that's another top tip. Each of us having a phone on a different network and having the van's internet on a third network means that we have 3 chances of actually getting internet when we park up. Because sometimes we parked up, there's no internet on the Wi-Fi, so each of us go to our 4G.
And
If
check.
you have internet and I don't, we're like, right, we're using your phone to hotspot off for tonight. It's not ideal for a long work week, but in a pinch, it'll work.
It's excellent. So we will recommend essentially triangulating your service providers.
I've just taken the battery out of this.
You're just juggling it, like, oh, battery, let's dismantle it.
Fine, I'll turn it back on. There we go. Right. So we've covered the UK, and now we get to the tricky part, which is
Europe.
internet in the EU. So
Fair use policy.
for those of you who don't know what the wonderful EU fair use internet policy is,
So you get your internet from your home country,
Yes.
okay, and you have your plan that you pay for. Then when you exit your home country, that plan gets modified. So you actually have less data. It doesn't affect your minutes or your text, I think.
but double
it-
check.
Double check. Sorry. But it does affect your data.
Yeah.
And each provider has a different fair use cap on your data.
So that's
Okay.
how much data you can physically use from your UK data plan in EU countries.
And this is the same for any EU country. So if you get your plan from France, Bulgaria, etc., the amount you can use in the country will be whatever you buy. As soon as you cross the border from France to Belgium, you go basically into roaming.
Yes.
Or that kicks in.
And then there's a fair use on how much you're allowed to use.
Yes.
The reason this exists is basically to stop everyone going to the cheapest EU country, buying the cheapest unlimited data plan, and then flying back to their home country and using that for work.
Which, it makes sense, but it is kind of a wrench in the gears when you're working internationally. 3, Smarty and O2
Yep.
give you only about 12 gigabytes of fair use data to use out of the UK.
I think Vodafone actually gives 20, not 12, or 25.
Vodafone is 25. That's how much I have on my phone in the EU.
Yeah, but you know those wonderful terms and conditions? It's buried within there how much fair use gigabytes you actually get.
Yes, and the best deal that you can actually get from the UK is EE with 50 gigabytes of a data cap in Europe, which from our research is actually, I think, is actually the best deal that you can get across Europe. So
Yeah, because even looking at the internet sims from Spain and from France and Germany,
I think they're capped in between 20 to 30 gigabytes.
Yeah, so
in most countries in Europe. I
so
mean,
50 gigabytes is good.
however, there's another kink in the mechanism here because Brexit. Since Brexit happened, there was a lot of obviously indecision as to what's going to happen with roaming and whatnot, and slowly but surely they have brought in roaming charges back in.
So what that means is that on some of the plans, that fair use gigabyte amount is not automatically enabled in your plan. So sometimes with EE, for example,
You have to
to
buy-
pay extra. You have to buy like a smart benefit, which I think is only...
I'll leave the name of the actual thing, but it's like a travel pass, which essentially enables your fair use policy, and that is £10 if you buy it separately outside of a plan.
Yeah, or with this plan it was only £2 per month more. And that doesn't allow you to use all your data in the EU. It allows you to use up to your fair use policy. Otherwise, I think you have to pay £4 a day to use any data in the EU without the smart pass. See where it gets confusing?
Yeah. And also, I think, I'll let you know, because we're not there yet, but I think after you're done with your fair use usage, the ones you've paid for essentially, after you're done with your cap, then roaming kicks in again for you, and I think you have to pay whatever it is, because each company, EE, Vodafone, etc., have different ways to charge you for roaming. The charges from Vodafone are different than the charges from EE, and you have to basically read the terms and conditions and stick like glue to them on live chat and ask them questions and basically keep them employed. Keep asking them questions.
Keep them employed.
About all of these details, and don't feel awkward keeping them on that line, because it's so complicated to understand, and sometimes you get a very helpful person and they answer all the questions because they know what they're doing, and sometimes you get the person who's just basically sharpening their pencils, doesn't want to work. So essentially, keep asking questions and make sure you read those terms and conditions, because there's so many charges and it gets so expensive if you take a misstep with this. So that is the conundrum, I think, with the Europe stuff.
Because what you used to be able to do is you could get a plan from the UK. It doesn't have a fair use policy, which meant you could just go and use all that data in Europe, and basically you just buy a good SIM card in the UK and use it in Europe. That is no longer possible.
No, and I think there are some lucky buggers out there that at the time before Brexit, EE was offering, so instead of buying the travel pass that gives you a fair use policy, you bought the travel pass that gives you unlimited data in Europe. That's no longer a thing. There are some people we know.
We've tried.
There's some people we know that have this unlimited thing still going on because they bought it before Brexit, and I just wish that we were ready for that, and we didn't know it. But anyway, so if you're lucky, please do not cancel your contract. Keep it for us to lighten our hearts, that somebody out there is not getting buggered.
Yes. So, as a... Hi, sweetie. Are you okay?
Oh, you're dopey, baby.
You're dopey. Go to sleep. You've been awake nearly all day.
But the door is open.
I know the door is open.
I must go out.
You don't have to go.
You're about to say something.
Yes. So, over our 4 months of research, both in and outside the UK, I think the best plan that we've got to come up with is... EE is the best UK plan that gives you the most gigabytes in Europe. So if you can, get an EE plan, get your 50 gigabytes per month, that might be enough for you. And quite frankly, if we weren't streaming so much, it might be enough for us as well. But
no, it's not enough because we upload videos.
Oh.
It's not enough. Upload day uses about 8 gigabytes.
Yes, it does.
Oh, another thing that I think you can add on to that, if your phone contract is also on EE, you can get 50 gigabytes fair use on your phone and 50 gigabytes on your dongle. Of course, EE is the most expensive provider, the best one, but it is the most expensive provider, so I don't know whether that will fit in your budget, but if our budget allowed, that's probably what we'll do. We'll have 50 gigs on here, and when that's essentially used up, or we'll kind of balance the hotspot on the phone and this, that way there's always internet for the cameras and any emergency stuff the house needs.
So yeah, I think EE is a good SIM card to have, is the best fair use policy that you can get in the UK. And then when you're out in Europe, if you are staying in one country for a while, for example, you're going to France for maybe a couple of months, I think the best option might be to just buy a SIM card in France, which is usually how it used to work. You can just go and buy a SIM card in each country that you're visiting. Now obviously if you're only spending a week in each one, that is a problem. But
you can sometimes get those like tourist plans, though they're usually pretty crappy deals.
Yeah, they are.
But there are an option. Sometimes they're not crappy. Sometimes it might be something decent, or something that suits your needs. So either get a tourist deal if you're only for a short amount of time, or try and get a proper plan if you're staying for a few months.
Yeah, because when we were in Spain, we managed to get a plan that was 150 gigs for 35 euros a month.
I think actually we're not entirely allowed to get that one because we didn't have an address, but the nice person at the desk gave us an address and a phone number.
So,
so
it
like,
is possible.
you can work it out. And if you have a friend in whatever country you are with an address, or you're like you want to write an Airbnb address or something, that could work as well. So yeah, tell us your stories of internet adventures in van life, both in the UK and quite importantly in Europe, and especially if you do full time and you need a lot of internet. I really want to know how you deal with that.
Yeah.
And in terms of also companies to kind of install like Wi-Fi, like antennas and bits and pieces, and what kind of hardware you actually use for your stuff, that'll be very helpful with our research, because eventually we'll upgrade. So just share your stories
and let us know if you basically have a small folder full of SIM cards that you keep swapping out every month and pay for 4 plans at a time, because that is something that happens. I have seen people who do that.
Yeah, I'm really trying to avoid that
at the moment.
At the moment. Yeah, so let me know if you liked this type of videos as well, and we'll see you next time. I'm fairly sure this is Tuesday video, so gonna see you Saturday. Bye.
Tuesday?
No, that's a lie.
No, we're releasing this tomorrow.
Oh yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you now. Bye.
I'll see you now. That works, sure.
Oh, it's weird filming. I don't know when people see me.